Hello guys, welcome to a new video. Today we are talking about something that caught my attention. In the comment section of my previous video, by the way, thank you for the support. We got a lot of views, we got a lot of likes, we got even subscribers from that video, which shows me that there's still interest for Sadako, there's still love for Sadako, let's say it like that, and it makes me happy. However, there was one comment, it was not hateful at all. I'm saying that it was constructive, so just take it as that. Of one guy who, let's say he doesn't like Sadako, okay? You can see his comment right here. Stuff like Sadako deserves to be dead. It's playing like against Skull Merchant chessboard as Survivor. And I'm a killer main who plays Onryo. She doesn't ever commit to chase and mostly leaves any chase, including bad spot chases. I prefer doing hit and run with exposed perks to use her map mobility to be unpredictable to her advantage. I actually do chases, unless like a god setup. Sadako players only do condemned style and nothing else. Wraith is more fun to face and they usually chase and have their body blocking plus windstorm burst of speed to have fun interactions and creative chases. More fun to play as well. Now usually I would just go and say, well then play Wraith. The Wraith Sadako comparison is kind of useless anyways, because they play completely different. The only thing they have in common is that they kind of have a cloaking mechanic, even though both are completely different, as he said himself, with the burst Wraith gets and all that stuff. But there was this, it's like playing against Skull Merchant chessboard. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm gonna explain why in a second. So of course, I came in and said, I've never seen a Sadako stall you for 2 hours. To say that it feels like playing against Skull Merchant shows a lack of either knowledge or understanding, which is honestly how I feel about this. Of course, it was a little bit provocative, but I thought I'd leave it at that. So he came back. Then he replied, says you. Second, Onryo games take like 30 to 45 minutes because the killer wants to condemn kills and I weigh like 9k hours. I guess he got a little bit provoked and therefore a little bit defensive, so he said that he played 9k hours. Congratulations. I'm more experienced than you. As a OG Billy main, I know what I'm talking about. My Wraith is loved by all. He is chased intended, even though he is the same hit and run playstyle. A few things about that. First off, 9k hours? Who cares in a debate? Second off, I played like when the game came out, but then I left the game and started with a fresh account when I started this YouTube channel. Third off, as a OG Billy main, you do not know what you're talking about if you're talking about Sadako. You may know what you're talking about if you talk about Billy, but the sentence, as a OG Billy main, I know what I'm talking about, in regards of this discussion, is absolutely pointless. And then saying my Wraith is loved by all. Why are we suddenly talking about Wraith? Anyways, all of that aside, to come to the actual important part here. So what he's saying is that Sadako games are like Skull Merchant games in her peak, because they take like 30 to 45 minutes. Since that's the point he brought up, let's debunk that first. Of course, I'm still going to talk about other points that I think other people would come up with as well. But first, what do we have here? Here we have the background gameplay for my previous video, which was a good game, right? The snowball worked, therefore it was not as long. The game starts at roughly 1 minute and it ends at roughly 9:30. Of course, that's not the whole story. Actually, half of it is just the last guy running away. So the actual gameplay, the actual chase part of the video is around 3 minutes. Of course, like I said, this was a fast round, so 3 minutes is not out of the ordinary. So now let's talk about a round with good survivors that did do tapes well on a map that is survivor-sided, such as Eyrie of Crows. This was a long match for a Sadako player. The footage is 20 minutes long, game starts at 17 and ends at 18. 18 minus 2, simple math, we got 16 minutes of gameplay. And this was a long round, so I don't know where the 30 to 45 minutes come from. I personally also have never seen a Sadako game that long. Like one pump willies, rounds are not that long. No Sadako I ever encountered played for that long. I never play for that long. What kind of Sadakos do you face, is my question. Actually, I think that a 30 to 45 minute game with Sadako is absolutely impossible as long as the survivors don't hide and drag out the game instead of doing gens. If they go onto gens instead of hiding, they are at some point going to have enough pressure to get the last gen done, or they're gonna fail doing so. The third option is they are going to bleed out, so that would also not take 30 to 45 minutes. So now that we have his specific argument debunked, let's talk about other stuff people would come up with to make this argument, which is the big outcry it had, right? Skullmesh and Sadako both had an outcry, but I think there are important differences we have to take into account. Sadako at the time of her outcry was not played as much as Skull Merchant at all. When the Skull Merchant problem was prominent, almost every game you would face one. And I have not seen a single one not playing that playstyle. With Sadako on the other hand, you would maybe face a Sadako once a month, and there were other playstyles than Condemn Onryo. For example, what was popular as well was the Reiko's Watch playstyle, where people would just pop on Reiko's Watch to have more chase potential and then just hook as usual. The other thing, Skull Merchants were exploiting a limitation of the game, which was the timer until the server shuts off. Not only that, but it was extremely easy to do. The game basically just played itself. You just had to patrol the 3-gen you established in the beginning, and there we go. Condemn Sadako on the other hand, not as easy, I would say. I have, of course, also faced quite a few Condemn Sadakos. The one thing all of them had in common was that no one of them, not a single one, knew how to pull it off properly. So there were quite a lot of games where I actually escaped in solo queue. The thing people claimed was impossible, because it ain't rocket science. I am baffled at the amount of people that tell me privately that it's a waste of time to turn off the TV that is right behind you before you go on a gen. Because these precious 5 seconds where you were not on your gen will cost you the game apparently. Sadako is a killer where you as a survivor are in control of her power. And if you refuse to take away her power, it's not her fault. If you have a fucking timer on the bottom of your screen and you somehow still get them to fill up completely, then it's your own fault and you get angry about it. Skull Merchant was strong by default. Sadako was strong if you made mistakes. This is a different situation. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you for watching. It would be great if you would like the video and or subscribe watching the video. Comment your opinion. We have a Twitch, we have a Discord, both in the description below. And have a nice day.
I love this guy. This Kuro.
Yeah, Kuro's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Kuro, no one appreciates you.